Morning, Olgeda. Not much has changed. Did so well last year, got invited back this year. So it's actually good to see a lot of familiar faces and call out to all my colleague banks. Feels like a banking symposium. Chairman of Bank of PNG, Mr. Toa, Mark Baker, Director on the board of BPNG, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, particularly colleague banks, great to be here this morning. I'm talking to the topic of driving innovation and financial inclusion through strategic partnerships. The one thing that has changed since I was last here is I'm sitting in a corporate banking role. Albeit my previous role as retail bank allows me to be able to share some insights into financial inclusion, which is a core part of the work we do. Thank you to the Chamber of Resource and Energy for the opportunity to come back. Shout out to Anthony Smare and his team for doing a wonderful job of promoting PNG business. We're up against it today, obviously, in the financial services sector. We've got the mining and petroleum next door, which takes the bulk of our audience. So as I said this morning, I'm just going to spend a little bit of time reinforcing the work that BSP has done from an inclusion perspective. So I do apologize to my colleague banks who are relatively familiar with the work we do. I'll then touch a little bit on some of the innovation work that we're doing under our Modernization for Growth strategy that we've announced recently. So clearly, financial inclusion is a key enabler for meaningful participation in the modern economy. As the Deputy Governor said, 75% of Papua New Guinea's population remains unbanked. Financial inclusion remains a challenge across our country, and this is a major development issue as most of our people cannot meaningfully contribute to the monetary economy and indeed benefit from it. Clearly, the ownership of a bank account is at any financial institution the first step toward financial inclusion. Financial exclusion is an impediment to the monetization of rural economies, and it constrains the growth of micro and small enterprises. Access to financial services in PNG is limited by lots of barriers, and I think the Deputy Governor spoke to a number of them, primarily infrastructure, financial literacy, and the inefficiency of banking services. PNG's first, second, and third inclusion strategies have set roadmaps which set the foundation for governments to address the issue of financial exclusion. So from a highlights perspective, BSP is led from the front in supporting this roadmap for inclusion in Papua New Guinea. Some quick highlights, again, apologies for those that are familiar with it. Operating since 1957, 65% of the banking market and over 2 million bank accounts in PNG. This next slide effectively gives a little bit of a sense about the work we've done on financial inclusion, which is extensive and systemic. We are the largest bank in Papua New Guinea and indeed across the region, and PNG with over, as I said, 2 million customers, and 75% of those live in non-urban centers. Access to financial services is clearly a crucial component of inclusion activity. In that regard, as I said, we operate a pretty large branch network, and I'll talk to that in a second. On the community front, we've invested significantly into all the communities we operate. I've referenced 7 million kina in 23, replicated in 24, and a lot of those initiatives are targeted at health and education projects in all of the communities that we operate in. One of the key fundamental parts of inclusion is education and literacy. The inability to read and write clearly excludes informal entrepreneurs from accessing financial services at the outset, because clearly they lack the ability and confidence to approach banks to fill out lots of forms, open bank accounts, and conduct transactions. We've done a lot of work in this area, and again, I'll share some of that work in a second, but from a financial literacy perspective, we've done a fair bit of work, not just in the rural population, but also in the innovation around the work we deliver through schools, with school children, through the work we do with the Brisbane Broncos, who we struck up a strategic partnership with. In the SME space, we've got, again, a partnership with the Australian Business Volunteers Group, and we ran through about 500 SME customers this year. On the infrastructure side, and again, the Deputy Governor touched on the work's been done from a communication perspective. We've done a significant amount of work from supporting major key infrastructure projects through our corporate bank, particularly around roads, airports and ports. I note that our continued support of the telecommunication sector in particular has helped with establishing the infrastructure needed to help drive digital services. Clearly, without the necessary infrastructure, it becomes extremely difficult to roll out digital capability. I note from the Deputy Governor's presentation a 60% penetration rate on mobile telephony, which is surprisingly high, but equally we do see that in the work we do with the telcos. On the government side, we're supporting them with their own modernization agenda. We understand that government play a critical role in delivery of services. We have long supported the government sector through our Paramount Banking Unit, which is a dedicated a team of people that support government primarily. On the next slide, again, apologies for the converted. BSP operates a pretty extensive branch network. The CEO quoted 81 yesterday, so apologies, I've got 90 plus. So we'll just correct that to 81. We're in every province in Papua New Guinea, as you can see. We're almost in every district. And that stretches from Telefomin in the east, which Kili Tambua had the pleasure of opening recently, all the way to Buin in the autonomous region of Bougainville, which I note is missing from the bottom of the Bougainvillean map there. That's not the easternmost branch BSP has. We've got Rarotonga and Aotearoa in the Cook Islands, which is 6,000 kilometers further east. So clearly we've got a pretty broad group of branches. I think the other topical thing to note from our branch perspective is the work we do to support resources and energy. And if I call out a number of them, Tabubil supporting Okteri, Moro in the Southern Highlands, in Hela, sorry, Simberi up north, which supports the work that St. Barbara do, Lihir, and then Pogra, where we're the only bank, and indeed that branch is currently shut for the third time, and at a time that's mutually suitable to all parties, we'll consider returning back into Pogra as well. The next slide is an interesting one because it effectively emphasizes the fact that across the global emerging markets or frontier markets, we've got the highest branch access of every 100,000 people. So as you can see, BSP is at 1.6, or near enough, ahead of the likes of Laos, Ghana, Nigeria, 5 times more than our fellow competitors in PNG. It's an important part of delivering inclusion is the ability to have branches on the ground supporting our people. Having said all that, we also understand that physical branch presence is critical, but it's also necessary to invest in digital capability. And that's why we've publicly announced our 350 million kina investment in our Modernization for Growth program. A little bit of a snippet there, but effectively recognizing the fact that we need to be forward-looking and prepared to adapt to a changing environment. It centers on a roadmap that transforms and modernizes our banking services to better meet the evolving needs of our clients and support PNG's long-term economic development. Clearly, the first part of that was investing in our new core banking system, which is a pivotal milestone for the bank. We not only replaced legacy systems, but modernized our technology architecture, which has allowed us to now more efficiently and effectively cater for the needs of our customers. After some very well-documented system challenges, we are pleased to note that the system is stable, and indeed, from a straight-through processing perspective, we're reaching global benchmarks. I think one of the customers asked me outside that his payment didn't go through the Kina Bank, and I said, well, it can only be one of two things. Either you've inputted the wrong information, or you better talk to Kina Bank about whether the funds are in the account. We've achieved a 99.6% straight-through processing rate on our system, which is above benchmark levels. The key pillars of our strategy, as I've got up there, is a commitment to innovating in a way that prioritizes our customers' needs. As we modernize, we are also enhancing the experience by streamlining processes, reducing wait times, and providing more personalized service. A big desire to bring more Papua New Guineans into the formal banking system, recognizing that financial inclusion is obviously key to sustainable economic growth. We're continuing to expand services to underserved communities such as Teleformin, and focusing particularly on women entrepreneurs. A big focus on enhanced digital banking solutions, which I'm sure Asi will give us a good idea about Credit Bank and the way they're moving. We've accelerated the rollout of new digital services to ensure that both our individual and business customers can access secure, efficient and convenient banking at their fingertips. Our goal is to reduce the dependence on the physical branch for basic transactions and offer secure digital alternatives for those same transactions. And finally, we've got an objective to modernize the region's cash economy via systemic solutions for collection, management, distribution, and the eventual minimization of cash in the economy, and I can share a little bit of a snippet of that in a second. So in terms of some of the actions we're taking, already resulting in positive outcomes, and hopefully our customers are seeing that. Firstly, we've significantly reduced branch waiting times in our branches, which might come as a surprise to people, but we have significantly invested in our people via our BSP Academy. It's a first start is to make sure people have the capability. And we're working very hard on improving operational efficiencies, including digitization. We've ensured that our technology investment is fully aligned with uplift in customer experience. And there's a number of impending digital capabilities to be rolled out, including for our rural customer base. Unfortunately, I was hoping to announce something this morning, as the Prime Minister probably wished he did as well, but I cannot at this point, so I apologize for that. We're delivering lots of digital capabilities, so this has included some good proof points. A pre-approved school fee loan originated digitally. Again, this is something that's a first in the PNG market. It was piloted. We'll roll that out at scale shortly. We opened our cashless waterfront digital branch in Port Moresby. Hopefully a number of you have been able to see it. If you haven't, down the end of the mall there, but that's been extremely successful, and it is indeed cashless. So unfortunately that memo hasn't reached a number of customers who still bring their cash deposits. And we've, CEO alluded to yesterday, we've invested a significant amount of money in a new ATM fleet, which will be inclusive of deposit functionality, and we're in the throes of finalizing testing on that. Peter Bezik's here, and Peter's headlining the establishment of a dedicated business banking proposition segment, which again is primarily focused on delivering for SME customers. This is a significant innovation and a material investment into driving what is the engine room of our economy. And for those that may have a chance, speak to Peter about it later on, but we're very excited about that innovation. We are working with government on a number of key digital projects, including the digital collection of non-tax revenue, piloting that with the Department of Police. On the corporate side, we've launched our FX online service for businesses, which effectively means those corporates do not need to join the queue at a BSP branch. They can sit in their office and effectively conclude the transaction. And then we've invested in state-of-the-art automated cash counting technology. And this is exciting because what it's done is resulted in significant reductions in processing times by as much as 50%. Something that had ordinarily taken 4 hours to count, effectively now in some cases takes less than an hour to complete. So in short, our ultimate objective is for BSP to deliver world-class services in Papua New Guinea and across the region, not only for our customers, but also so we can continue to drive financial inclusion in all the communities we operate in. So in closing, I'd like to thank the PNG Corps for opportunity to again come back. Hopefully they'll invite me back next year. And for your ongoing dedication to fostering an environment where businesses in PNG can thrive. We're looking forward to 2025 with optimism and determination, and confident that through innovation, partnership, and a focus on our customers, we can continue to contribute meaningfully to the growth and prosperity of PNG in the Pacific. Thanks very much for your attention this morning. Enjoy the remainder of the conference, and Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you.